The famous Greg and my duo. Thank you, guys. Thanks. I'm glad that we're color coordinated. Well done. Excellently done. I wore my CBS 6 colors. I'm still trying to score a jacket. But hi, you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm really grateful, with everything going on, and just to make time on a Saturday morning to come out and hear me speak. But I know really what's up. You're here really to work out with the super trainers and to hear them talk. So I'll try to keep it short, okay? But look, Dee, the wonderful person that put this together with her whole team, I was literally talking just about having the super trainers come up here, and we have some coaches who have a booth here, and I was just learning about the event, and she said, why don't you come keynote speak? And I said, well, I've never been asked to do that before. What's a keynote speaker do? Like, do I have to wear like a cap and gown or something? Is anybody graduating? And she said, no, we pick a topic and we'll figure out what's the most relevant thing to be able to help people who are at an event to help inspire, particularly women, make healthier choices, find resources that'll be valuable to them to go into the spring feeling good about themselves, feeling healthy, maybe solving some problems. And what we got to was a little bit of a theme that I've shared at, if you know Team Beachbody, at one of our summit events one year. I talked about how, despite being CEO of a company that does around $1 billion a year, which we're obviously super proud of, I feel like, and sitting here, standing here, I feel like I probably am the biggest failure in the room. And if you count them up, if you count up the amount of failures and false starts and disappointments that I've had to overcome and cope with in order to be here and get applause, which still blows my mind, like I had to overcome obstacle after obstacle. And the most important thing, like in coming up with the idea of a keynote speech, is to be able to provide you with just some mindset, some attitude that you can take out when you're walking around here and you're making choices, or you're out living your life this spring. As you're making choices, you're going to be faced with obstacles. And I think the thing that most people don't take into account when they make decisions to start a new lifestyle, start a new business, or they might be in the middle of some struggle with their own business. Here's the secret that I've got, and I'm lucky enough that either my parents or partners, mentors that I've had over time, like the most critical thing about achieving success, or what we call our mission statement, and help people achieve their goals to lead healthy, fulfilling lives, the most critical thing you can do is not just the start. Like people think, getting started is half the battle or something, or showing up is 90% of it. It's not true. Have you ever showed up somewhere and the event wasn't actually happening that day? Well, I showed up. That didn't work. No. The point is saying, if I'm going to try something truly transformative in my life, I'm going to start a new business, I'm going to try to be a coach, I'm going to try to influence people to get healthy, to do a workout. Imagine, you got Joel Freeman right now who's flying or driving around the country filming this 10 rounds program, and we have had setbacks and weird weather and many things going on. You've got Calabrese, who for the first time in Beachbody history strung together 80 workouts in real time, and 80-day session. And what I came to learn was that the 2 weeks before that even got started, she was dealing with some serious physical issues, overcoming some joint pain and things that she had to get worked on and deal with to get to that program. But it's a fantastic program. Here am I, okay? People know about P90X. People know about Shakeology. People know about Beachbody On Demand. What you don't know is that in every case of these billion-dollar businesses, these billion-dollar products or services, in every single case, there were moments when I should have quit. And literally, when we launched P90X in 2005, we were testing it and trying it and having new people were trying it, and we couldn't market it. Like we maybe sold 50,000 P90X DVD kits, and like we literally, it was a loser. And then we started to get success stories started to come in, and then we would try the marketing again. More success stories would come in. We'd tweak the price point, tweak the marketing. It would work, but not quite there. Obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, until about 2007, the 20-second test that we had done of that advertising, and the product took off, and it became our first billion-dollar brand. That should have been a complete failure. But the point is, when I go into a project like P90X or creating Shakeology, which is a whole other story, I go into it with the mentality of, I am going to have to overcome every obstacle that stood in the way of anybody creating something like Beachbody, and that stood in the way of anybody, in fact, the whole industry. When we created Shakeology, you know, you've got this industry that's selling $19.95 bags of powder, $29.95 bags of powder, and then here we are with a bag of powder, looks like all the other powders, costs $130 a month, $4.33 a serving, and people in the industry were laughing at me. They're like, nobody is gonna buy this. And I said, I know one person who's gonna buy it, and it's gonna be me. Because, like you guys said, I can't take vegetables. Like, I don't know what a Brussels sprout is, but I don't need to know, okay? Like, I don't want to know. I used to, here's a funny little story. My mom would make, you know, the dinner, the balanced food on the plate, but I was a clever kid. So I would, you know, there were the carrots coated with some terrible stuff, and I would put the carrots on my fork, and when nobody was looking, I would slide them into my glass of milk. So they would disappear, my carrots, in the milk. Until I realized, and then I'd finished all my carrots because they were all in the milk, until I realized that you could see the little rims of orange, and I'd be like, Mom, I'm gonna clear the table tonight, okay? I'm gonna get started right now. And I'd brush the stuff off. So like, I had no business creating a health shake that would create distinction in the marketplace of $20, $30 a month protein shakes. But what I realized was, I don't need another source of protein. What I need is something that's gonna feed me biologically. And my point is not to do a Shakeology commercial. My point is, whatever business you are in, my point is that you are absolutely going to face challenges that you don't see coming. Every single day you wake up, and man, that alarm is gonna go off at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time you have to get up, and you're exhausted because you stayed up too late, or the kids kept getting up with another question, or they, you know, for the 750th time in a row, they fought you on brushing their teeth. Guys, you're gonna brush your teeth every night for the rest of your life. Can we just be reconciled on that? You're still gonna have to fight them, and it's gonna be 11 o'clock, and you're gonna have to try to get them to bed. And then you're gonna have to try to wake up and drag your butt up and go do that, push play on that workout. And then something's gonna happen during the day, you're gonna have an emotional setback, and you're going to want to splurge and reward yourself with food. You have to be prepared for it. I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is, whatever happens, be consciously prepared for it. That's the mindset. If you go into a goal, it's not 50% is starting. It's not 90% is showing up. It's 100% that if there's something that's worth it for you to try, you need to be prepared for the setbacks and the obstacles and the work it's going to take for you to see it all the way through. Whether you're a coach, whether you're starting a fitness program today, whether you're walking around here seeing all these incredible vendors and people with options, you're gonna have conflicting messages coming at you. You've got a goal already. You're gonna hear these conflicting messages. How are you gonna reconcile them and still stay on the rails of what your goals are? That's gonna come on you. And if there's anything that I can help you sort through today, it's that I want you to stay steadfast in your goals. Have confidence in the decisions that you've already made so that you see them through. If you're on a 80-day program, a 90-day, a 100 workout program, a 21-day program, you're just gonna join a gym, whatever it's gonna be, as you approach that every day now, going forward, now you know. And if you don't know, now you know. Because I want you to go about it and not be surprised ever again that there are hard times, because that's the reality. There are so many people walking around like zombies, comatose. Oh, life is so hard. Why does it have to? I keep failing. Of course you do. We all do. I'm standing up here no different than you. We will all fail. The difference makers, the people who build major complexes like this, the people who put on events like this, I guarantee you, so many hassles, so many breakdowns, so many things happen to conspire to make this event difficult, but they did it anyway, and you got here anyway. Keep seeing that through. Understand there's going to be obstacles. There's a great book, The Obstacle is the Way, by Ryan Holiday. Read that book. But keep in mind, when you set to achieve something, what you're really deciding is, I'm gonna work through the struggles. That's the decision that you're making. You're not just deciding, I'm gonna get healthy, I'm gonna get thin, I'm gonna get fit, I'm gonna make money. No, what you're deciding is, to enjoy those things, to achieve those goals, I'm going to overcome obstacles. That's what you're doing. Now, I promised I wouldn't keep it too long. I probably already went too long, but let's see if we can bring up a couple people here who are really interesting and who have overcome obstacles and done things that I could never achieve in my life, so thank God I'm flanked by them. Let's bring up the super trainer of 10 rounds, Joel Freeman, so Joel, come up, and now the super trainer behind 21-Day Fix, 80-Day Obsession, and Ultimate Portion Fix on Calabrese. My superstars. You guys were supposed to bring these chairs up with you. Oh, now we lost the chairs. Okay. D. See? This is it. Overcoming obstacles. We had no chairs. Thank you so much. One for me. Okay, let's sit up here like we own the place. So, okay, I think these are cozy.
It's a little small on the backside. Hanging.
Joe, you're not on? All right, here we go.
You gotta be smarter than the microphone.
Okay, so while they figure this out, I want to open this up to Q&A. Mike and Greg, you're gonna run around with a mic? All right, these guys. So I've told them no inappropriate touching, but help people with the microphones.
You had to tell them that?
I did. They're an unruly bunch, but so they'll come with the mics. So raise your hand if you have a question, but you're allowed to ask. This is the ground rules for the questions. You can ask literally anything. It can be about business or the company or about your company, anything you're going through. It doesn't have to be about Beachbody. It can be about their programs, their careers, their success, or anything about Beachbody. What we won't talk about is anything that hasn't been announced, and because we reserve that for the upcoming Punta Cana trip and summit. So we just don't do product announcements. That's the only thing that we really don't go into. So, and I can say that both of them have things that you wish they would talk about. We can't talk about 10 rounds, people know that. Is it me, or is this thing like, did this thing go through cryotherapy before I sat on it? Wow, it's amazing. Okay, any questions?
Like
I've got numb buns.
Right here too.
Yes.
I have a question to Autumn. When you do different workouts so you don't plateau, is it the same with nutrition? If you eat the same thing every morning, like the same breakfast every morning, the same lunch every day, does that happen? Do you still lose weight or no, even if it's within your portions?
It's a little of both. So here's the thing. It's not that you're gonna necessarily plateau from eating the same thing over and over and over again. unless you were eating things that weren't in your bracket or that were at the bottom of the food list instead of the top of the food list. I've talked a lot about being careful about eating the same thing over and over and over again. And I think people have taken that and run with it a little bit because I talked about my food sensitivities. My food sensitivities stem from a lot of different things, not just from eating eggs over and over and over again. But what I will say is this, is that if you're eating the exact same thing always, you're not getting a variety of nutrients, and we really need that. So it is important to change it up a little bit. I'm not saying you have to change it every single day. So, for 1 week, if you're like me and you're a creature of habit and you want to kind of eat the same thing every day, cool, it makes meal prepping significantly easier. But then maybe the following week you change up the fruit that you buy or the vegetables that you buy. So it doesn't have to be these massive shifts, but that little bit of change will keep your body at its peak performance. So you want to switch it up a little bit just to make sure you're getting enough variety in your nutrients.
Shameless plug, is there any chance that you're going to address that in any way in any upcoming content?
You just said I couldn't talk about
That's the one thing you can talk about.
I don't know what you're saying right now.
So we can talk about
It's
it.
April, but are you making an announcement right now?
It's the April, it's just the April, isn't that the
Oh,
April
you're talking about the monthly fix?
Yes.
Okay, thank God
No.
we communicated.
It's not the other one.
Really, like, what's happening?
Yes.
I do talk about in the monthly fix in April. The deep dive for the monthly fix for that month will be about plateaus. So I'll be going in significantly deeper about plateaus, avoiding them, what causes them, what is the true definition of a plateau. It is not when the scale doesn't move for a week, you guys. People call me, message me all the time. They're like, the scale didn't move this week, I hit a plateau. And I'm like, that's just normal life.
Maybe the scale's broken.
Scale might be broken.
All
Who
right.
else?
All right, folks, anybody else have a question over
We
here?
got lots of them.
I want him to hold an
Boys.
auction.
Ray, how are you?
Yeah.
What's your name?
My name is Molly Stone,
Nice to see you, Molly. Where are you from?
Chesapeake, Virginia.
All right, tell us, Molly, what question do you have?
I'm wondering, what personal development are you working on right now?
Who's that question to?
Any one of you.
Oh.
Or all of you.
Take her away, boys.
What's personal development? Gosh, I read so many. Right now I'm reading Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall. She is the keynote speaker at Summit this year. But her book, Stories That Stick, is outrageous. It should be like compulsory for anybody who wants to use social media to influence people. Like rather than, how we're in this sort of TikTok generation right now?
Not this group.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, seriously. So like,
You gotta be like 14 for TikTok.
yeah. No, I'm telling you, the demographics I'm studying. But if you want to know how to tell a story and make your Instagram and Facebook productive for you, that's an incredible book. And I'm constantly rereading 2 books. I read Think and Grow Rich. That's always in some state of reading on my Kindle. And The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
I'm reading 2 right now, and by reading, one of them I listen to on audiobooks when I drive. So I am on Gabby Bernstein's latest book, that is Super Attractor. Love that book. Very much about positive mindset, and what you put out is sort of what you're going to attract, which I know not everybody always believes in that, but I do. Because when you change that attitude around, all of a sudden everything around you becomes more positive. So that's a great one. And then also I am lucky enough, one of my clients is releasing a book. It'll be out in a few weeks. Ask for More. So I have the early advanced copy of that. I've already read it once. I read it while she was writing it. I've actually was interviewed for the book, but I am now rereading the final version of that, which is also an amazing book for anybody that you really can use it for both ways, whether it's for yourself, for taking on a challenge or a conflict that you're dealing with, or in business, but 10 questions you can ask to get more out of life, out of a negotiation, out of a situation. So I think it's on pre-order on Amazon right now. So those are the 2.
She's doing the National Wake Up Call on
She
Monday.
is doing the National Wake Up Call on Monday, and I believe we are in possible talks for a summit appearance, possibly.
Very good.
I'm currently stuck on a level of Angry Birds that I feel is really much about perseverance and consistency of trying to pass that level.
Good for you.
I'm flying around a lot, man, so I'm on it.
Awesome. Inspiring the children. I love it about
It's a hard level, man.
you. Okay. What's that about?
You play dodgeball now?
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those things.
Microphone.
Ball. You can talk into it. Jesse's lovely green team of three. A question. Start off with your name and where you're from.
Ooh. All signs point to yes.
It was a great idea.
Great.
Sawyer Smith from Leesburg, Virginia with my wife Ashley. Joel, Autumn, thank you so much. You helped us on this fitness journey. And I want to ask you about the opportunities to be a Beachbody coach as a man. Can you hear something about that, please?
I lifted it to say take it away.
Would you like to handle about being a man?
I don't want to talk about being a man.
So from the standpoint of a guy, I think it's the best time ever to be into the Team Beachbody world as a guy. I think we have a very strong male presence. That male presence is growing, and it's been awesome to see that. Not just from the program perspective, we have a lot of strong male trainers besides myself who brought Walla into it, and it's been awesome to see that, as well as Sean and the rest of the team. But what we're seeing as well is that guys are starting to see, when their wives and girlfriends, they're like, wait a minute, you got a full paid trip to Punta Cana? How does that work? Like, there's, the perks of it are really starting to draw into it, and what guys are starting to see that it's not just being a girl-dominated thing, and it's a great team. So we have a great male presence. We've got some great men on the cab, on the coach advisory board now, and so the male presence is growing more and more and more. And I think as we continue to launch programs that speak to men as well, like Live 4, and I think 10 Rounds is going to do the same thing of really bring in that male audience and bring those husbands in, and hopefully they get an eyebrow up to it, then they start asking more questions of like, okay, what else is this about? And so I think it's a great time for it. And what I love to tell women who ask me, like, how do I get my husband to try this? I'm like, look, the number one thing you can do for a guy is to challenge his manhood, and just simply say, hey, look, Joel does it, and last time I checked, he's a guy, so why don't you try one workout and see what happens? So I think you challenge them and try to do it, and then they're gonna find something they connect with, and hopefully be a part of it.
And they'll love it when they find out that Angry Birds is one of the vital behaviors. But, let me just say that in terms of the how of that, it's clearly an opportunity, but the how of it, I think people need to change their mindset about what they see. It's kind of like personal trainers. Like, there's plenty of male personal trainers out there. People take it for granted. Well, why not a guy who just wants to get in shape and just wants to mobilize his own desire to finish P90X or Lift 4 or Shift Shop or Insanity, and mobilize that into putting a group together, what we call a bod group, and seeing if we can get 3 or 4 other guys to do it. And that's when you challenge the man and say, hey, you think you can hang with me? I'm doing this. Here's a link to buy it, and we're gonna do it. Like, it does not have to have this icky multi-level marketing thing. That's not what it's about. What it's about is people helping people, and guys need to be better connected. This is actually a failure in society right now, that guys have allowed themselves to become isolated in the pursuit of health and wellness. And it's our job as people who are woke to bring them into the fold and make them feel good about it. And the good news is they're gonna be able to throw their arms around with 10 rounds and feel macho.
Can I say something, even though I don't have, the male perspective?
I didn't know where you were about to go.
I wasn't going to say anything inappropriate. But let me just say this. Like, they mentioned all the male programs, but I think it's important to look at it like this, that there's such an opportunity as a guy, because right now it is a female-dominated business, and most of the company is female. I don't know what the percentage is, but it is mostly dominated by women. And it's not to say that you have to isolate to a male program. It might be easier to get other guys to do that, but there is, first of all, don't sleep on a short, small one, okay? I will kick your butt just as hard as he will. And science is science. So the way our workouts are built are around science, and that works whether you're a man or a woman. Nutrition works if you follow it, whether you're a man or a woman. So it's really important to look at the program as a whole. Look, I know Bar Blend is out right now, and I guarantee no guy out there is thinking about doing Bar Blend, or very few. But if you watch, like, what was the movie? Game Plan. The Rock, he plays a football player.
Yeah.
That man went and actually studied with a ballet company. I think he studied with the Boston Ballet for 4 or 5 months because he had to do like this tiny little dance part in the movie. And I know him. He used to train at the gym I worked at, and he was talking to me about it one day, and he said, that is some of the hardest training I've ever done in my life. And he said, it made me lighter on my feet, it made me faster on my feet, it made me more flexible. So like, don't underestimate what all of the programs can do for you. You don't have to turn to just a male trainer to get results, but that's the beauty of it, is that you have all these other, you have so many things to choose from. So,
Hey, my results from 21 Day Fix Extreme were pretty intense.
that's right.
So, all right. How are we doing on time, Dee? Are we okay? Or, where are you? What do you got?
She's got her hand in the middle, she's got it.
What is it?
She's like,
50?
he's like kindergarten.
20 more minutes? Good, great.
Get her a mic right there.
Anybody else has a question? Right here.
She's right there.
Throw the ball at
Bring
him.
it up. Nope, go left. If you skip her, bro.
Right here, miss. Come on.
Try.
We'll get
I
to you.
tried.
We will. We won't skip you.
Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
I'm Claire. I'm from Dinwiddie, Virginia. Thank you guys. Y'all have helped me lose 50 pounds.
Wow.
I'm just curious how you come up with the ideas for your programs.
It's very collaborative, which is a lot of fun. We all always have ideas, initial concepts and ideas of what we might want to do, and then it's with this guy that we always have then that next meeting, or he'll come to us and say, hey, this is something that I've been thinking about, what do you think about it? And then that's when that conversation starts, and then we start to bring, and this is why Beachbody has the best program in the world, and this is coming from someone who's made programming in other companies too, is the fact that it's so collaborative. There's so many people that understand the business, understand what we're trying to go for on the business side, then we understand what we're trying to do from the fitness side, and so it's very, very collaborative in a lot of senses. You know, with Lift 4, for instance, that was an idea I had for a long time, but then it just happened to match up with an idea you had, and that's why it came together so seamlessly. And with 10 rounds, you know, Carl knows that I'm a boxer, and it's something that we felt that was missing in the library, and so it was like, let's make this happen. And so he came to me and said, hey, get to work. And I said, okay. And I'm gonna fly you around the country and put your face on the bus. And I said, okay.
I still haven't got my face on a bus. I was promised the van. Like my kid was 4 years
It's
old.
an unmarked van outside.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Listen, John was
It says
4
candy,
years
5
old
cents.
coming to the studios, and he was like, "Why isn't your face on the van, Mom?" And I was like, "Mom,
I'm not on
it's
that
new."
van either.
And
I have good
Still
news.
comes and asks
The new
me
vans
what
are
my
being
face
wrapped as we speak, okay?
Liar.
And I swear, they are. I swear.
I'm bringing down by the office when they're done.
Okay, you're very little, but you're on it.
I'll take the win.
In terms of product development and how we come up with it, it really is a collaborative effort. 80-Day Obsession is a great idea. Like, I knew that we needed something in the catalog that had a emphasis, kind of like a P90X, but an emphasis on butt and abs. Like, I wanted to promise people that if they went for it, if they were obsessed about it for 80 days, that they could get it. Like the ring of the name, 80-Day Obsession, I thought it was kind of cool. I got a lot of pushback on, well, that sounds kind of maybe negative, or, you know, but in talking about it, talking with Autumn about the concept, she had been working on a certain approach to moves in her home gym, and it just came together. And then it was like, what if we did this in real time? Since we have digital streaming now, what if instead of creating 10 or 15 DVDs, what if instead every day we get this character development where you get to know Donald, and you get to know Kaylee, and you get to know the other people, and get to see Autumn really have to deal with the whole arc of an 80-day program. So like that collaboration though, like once the idea just sort of comes together in what we call a top sheet, it just goes into development, and these geniuses literally who manage what is a very complex process of wanting to get people results, wanting to push them hard, but not too hard, needing to communicate with the camera in a way that feels like you really get to know them, communicate with the people in the back, communicate with the people in the studio, and know how to cue the technique constantly. It is a real art form, and that's why we call them super trainers, because when we put a concept that could revolutionize or be a breakthrough in fitness, in the hands of one of these people, they have to be up to the challenge. And that's why not everybody makes it. These two make it look easy.
Thank you.
Can we get the girl in the white? She's gonna die.
She's
dying.
It's shoulder day.
She's getting a great workout. Make sure you use her other arm too.
So let's just clarify build for a second, because that's important. Are you looking to act like build? So when you say build, to me, that means you're looking to put on size. Like you want to get bigger muscle mass. So, yeah, so that's what we're talking, that's what we're referencing. I want to build more muscle. Okay, so then you have to eat in a surplus. So what you would do is calculate maintenance, and then you would go 1 calorie bracket up from there, and then you gotta lift. Like, that is, like, you can't just go 1 calorie bracket up and then lift little 5s. Like, this is lifted heavy, so this is a great time for lift 4 or 80-day obsession. That's how you're gonna build. So you gotta have both in combination. You gotta have the right fuel, the right amount of fuel, and then you gotta push as hard as you can, and you gotta really lift. So for me, when I'm building, like when I was competing days, I was eating in D, bracket D. Yeah, and I was like that, because I have a hard time putting on size. So I had to eat a lot, and then I had to lift very heavy to even get a little bit of size. So.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Because with that question, I get that question a lot about lift 4, and they're usually saying I want to lose fat and tone. Those are the two things I always hear. I want to lose weight and I want to tone. No, you don't. You want to burn fat and build muscle, right? That's what everybody wants to do, and that's what it comes down to. And so when you're building, it's still about building muscle, but you want to make sure you're not gaining weight by adding excess fat. So what she's talking about is the more muscle you're building by increasing your calories and lifting those heavier weights, the more you're going to increase your metabolism at the same time. So you're going to burn more fat as you do this. So that's why we are such big proponents of getting out there and lifting those heavy weights, because everyone's like, well, I'm going to get bulky. No, you're not. That's what bears do in the winter. Because they're just eating. They're eating in surplus. That's how they bulk up. So that's what it is. So that's why it's very important to make sure you're still challenging yourself, not with the 5-pound dumbbells. And that's always my favorite when someone says, like, I really felt the burn with the 5 pounds, and they go and pick up your 40-pound child. Like, just curl your kid or something. But pick the heavy stuff, because you can't be scared of that, because that's really going to where you see the most results, and then in the calorie brackets as well.
I'll never forget, when we released Body Beast has these 3 phases, and I think the second phase is bulk. And it was right around the time of our leadership convention, and a guy who had an amazing transformation, literally had lost 80 pounds with another program, I think it was Power 90, and we had celebrated him in an infomercial, and he came running up to me, and he was huge. And I said, what's going on, dude? And he goes, I'm in the bulk phase of Body Beast. And I'm like, yeah, you are. And what I realized, I watched him work out, and what he was missing was that intensity. It is really easy. This is the challenge that we have. We can make workouts super convenient, stream them to your house. But if you don't have some consciousness about what intensity really is, then you're not going to get the results that you're seeing on screen, or that the program is promising you. You've got to find a way to bring your own intensity to the program. So
if your muscles aren't burning, if your lungs aren't on fire, if you're not thinking about quitting every second of every rep, and if you're not calling us names, you're probably not working hard enough.
Sell it, Autumn.
That's a t-shirt right there.
That's a truth bomb right there. It just is what it is. It's 30 minutes. Get uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's another t-shirt.
That could go on the bus, Carl.
There you go.
All right, we have one more question right here. Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
My name's Tina from Hagerstown, Maryland. I'm Tina from Hagerstown, Maryland. So you all helped me lose 150 pounds. Wow. We've met. You gave me a very good piece of advice on how to be a coach, Autumn. So my youngest of 7 kids is now 9. And she has worked out with me since she was 3 months old in her car seat, rocking back and forth so she'd chill. And she will pull up Beachbody on demand when she is stressed or she just needs to play, and lets go and does it on her own now. So all 7 of my kids do this with me because I set the example.
I'm just gonna do this right here for 7 kids as well. I have 2 cats and it's really challenging.
My question for you, I've been coaching for 9 years now, and I promised you when I met you in Pittsburgh that I'd bring one back with me, and you talked to her, so I kept my promise. How do you deal with all of the fad diet mentality that gets in the way of people comprehending that they need a lifestyle changing, not just the carbs?
It's a hard one, you guys, because we're bombarded by it, by media on a daily basis, like an hourly basis. You open social media and everybody's, okay, I'm gonna get attacked right now, but I'm gonna take it. Keto, intermittent fasting, and then like what? And then they're combining 3 things. Like they're like, I do keto and intermittent fasting, and then I do this other thing over here. And it's really interesting. I sat in interviews the other day. I was talking with a large group of people, and we were asking them about their nutrition. We were talking about some stuff for Ultimate Portion Fix, and every single person that came into that interview said the same thing to me. I can't make this up. I got it all on film. I did not prompt them. I've tried all the diets. I've tried the keto and I've tried the intermittent fasting, and it worked for a little bit, but I can't sustain that. So what do? I'm just lost. So that's why it's our job to just constantly be like everybody else that's bombarding with keto and intermittent, and bombard with the things that we know that works. The thing that we know that is a lifestyle that actually lasts, which is, it's not deprivation, it's not restriction, it's not telling people you can't ever have a glass of wine again or cookies, because nobody wants to live, I don't want to live like that. I don't know who wants to live like that. Like, who said they're never eating a carbohydrate again? And your body needs it. So for me, it's just about, you know what? It's hard because I let that noise get in my head too, and I get frustrated when they're talking about it, and I'm like, this is not healthy, why are we encouraging this? But then I'm like, you know what? That can't be my concern. My concern has to just be what I do and what I teach, and I have to just keep putting that out there and hope that the people that need it will find it, because you can't constantly worry about what everybody else is doing. So the best that you can do is keep talking about what you're doing and what has worked for you. You lost 150 pounds. Share that. And then share how long you've kept it off for. Because I don't see all these people on all these other diets talking about how long they've kept it off for. Oh, I literally had somebody the other day, you guys, I can't make this up. I said, what'd you eat yesterday? I had some cauliflower. I was like, okay. And then I had a little cauliflower with cheese. And I ate a lot of ice. That was it.
In your whiskey?
No, this is what she ate for the day. And she went on and on about how she worked out 7 days a week, and she couldn't lose the weight, and why, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's tried this diet and that diet, and mind you, she's standing in front of me gray, like no color in her skin, and I was like, oh my God, can we get her a sandwich? Like, she's hungry, like, you're hungry, eat. So like, it's not about starving yourself, and it's not about just eating one piece of food. It's about balancing those macronutrients, eliminating the highly processed foods that aren't really foods, fueling our body with a superfood shake that helps replenish those vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we need. Just keep talking about it. That's all you can do.
So if I can add one thing to that, because keto is really important to a certain set of people, like diabetics, who need to have it. And so it's not like a bad thing. And intermittent fasting, when it's really highly supervised for a specific period of time, can be really powerful. The problem is, when it gets in the hands, when it gets scaled in the simplicity of millions of people, it goes off the rails and becomes a cauliflower and ice diet. That's the problem. Our job is to scale healthy lifestyle to people. Our job is not to latch on to the trend. This is why you haven't seen keto or intermittent fasting within the Beachbody ecosystem is because it doesn't scale in a responsible way. Same reason that you have not seen a kettlebell program yet is that's a very technical form of exercise that needs somebody's eyes on you to make sure you're doing it right so you don't break the cocktail table. So the point is, we don't want to vilify anything, but what we do want to do is make sure that when we're scaling this to literally tens of millions of people, it needs to be done in a responsible way. The responsible way is portion control and a healthy, balanced diet that is heavier in vegetables, high in water, enough fruits, enough fats, and enough carbs so your brain works. Now, how do I put this together and plan it so I don't go off the rails when my emotions attack my desire to eat? That's what we try to help people manage, because that's real life.
Yeah. We have one more over here. Do we have time for it?
Oh, we do.
Hi, I'm Lonnie. I just had a quick question actually for Carl. Have you guys talked about it recently or thought about changing the coach status for wanting to change uplines? Because the problem I'm seeing and a lot of other teams are facing is they get on a team and the momentum's there and they're really excited, and the coach, depending on the team or the coach, is not in it for the best reasons at sometimes, not always. And they just kind of like another number for that coach. And so you see this person, you see the potential, and you want them on your team, but they have to wait the 6 months, and the momentum gradually goes down, and then they've already felt defeated as it is. So have you guys thought about changing the 6-month status?
It comes up at every coach advisory board meeting, and it's a gnarly topic. So I understand the problem. That's why it's so important that people are careful with who they sign up with as a coach. But let me say this, I don't think there's an imminent change to that. However, what I have seen in the business is the people who thrive are the people who work cross-line, down-line, and just simply make it work. Remember what I said at the beginning. You're gonna have struggles, you're gonna have obstacles. If it's not your upline who lets you down, it's gonna be some whiner in your group who brings everybody down with their negativity. It's gonna come at you on some way. So just take responsibility for where you're at, and look at Lindsay Matway, who was top coach. She had no upline and she just made it work. Ashley Molstad worked crossline and she made it work. It's just possible for you. But it's also very possible for many people who are like, well, I don't want to leave for 6 months, and they get stuck in this limbo, and all they do is waste time. So if it's really toxic, it's really bad, either cut yourself off and say, I'm not going to work with you, and go up, or find somebody else. And that's why when we launch bod groups, I think it's going to be very helpful, because it's going to put success tools and building tools into everybody's hands, regardless of training mechanisms within their systems, and it'll feel less multi-level marketing dependent. But in the meantime, just do your work. I've had bosses, and I've had mentors, and I've had investors who were toxic, terrible people, and I never let it stop me. Nothing will stop me. My save screen on my phone is, I will not lose. Just make that your attitude. That's what I would say. Well, 11:50 is what they told us.
So we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions.
Yeah, we're good.
Hi, I'm Lori. I have a question. Is there any plans, Otto, for you to create an upcoming challenge group on Facebook? Because there hasn't been one for a long time that I've seen.
There's an ongoing one right now. It's called the Monthly Fix. So I know everybody, look, you guys, let me be really real, okay? And this is not to offend anybody. I know everybody wants me to do all the things, and there's only so many hours in a day. And so I have to put my attention where it's needed most, and it is a business that we are in. That doesn't mean I don't want to help every single person. So right now, my attention is on the Monthly Fix, because that is new. We are growing it. Yes, it's an ongoing continuity, so yes, it's $20 a month, but I promise you, the work that I'm putting into that, I truly believe is beyond valuable. It's more value than I've ever put into a challenge group. What happens a lot of, I did just do a diet bet, so I had that going for a month. What happens a lot of times is I get a challenge group going, and I'm being totally honest, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus right now, and then work comes up and life comes up, and I don't get to be in that challenge group as much as I would like to be, and then I get kind of attacked for not being in there as much as people think I should be. So I have to be really careful. I've got a lot of things going on, as Carl mentioned. We can't say what they are right now, but sleep is limited and work is a lot, and I love every second of it. We're getting ready to film another round of Monthly Fix in about a week or two. So if you're really looking for that support from me, you guys, literally, I have a cell phone right now. It's sitting backstage. It has almost 1,000 text messages on it. I can't get that number down, no matter how many I respond to, because they just keep coming in. So that's why I'm not doing anything like that right now, is because I'm in it for the people. And here's part of the reason. So many people do just that. They come into the challenge group, the Facebook challenge group, and they're all in it for the first week, and then they drop off too. The people that take that $20 and invest in the Monthly Fix, those are the people I am all there for too, because they are investing in themselves. And so they're gonna do the work a little bit more. They're gonna watch the videos. They're gonna use the monthly assignment. They're going to listen to the expert interview and read that person's book and bring that back into the group and ask really valuable questions. And they're gonna text me when they need a little more help. And so that's where I'm just putting my energy right now. So by all means, I would love to have you in there. And then I'm sure eventually in the next 6 months, maybe 8 months, there might be another Facebook group. But until we make some announcements and some things slow down, that's where I gotta be. Carl's looking at me like, can you please stop talking?
Say more.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You started it.
We are just a few minutes away before the VIP meet and greet, and before we start to gather for that, we have time for one more question. Who's it? That hand went right up. All right, come on over here. Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
Hi, I'm Anila and I'm from Tyson's Corner, Virginia. My question is to Joel, and probably all of you can answer that. You're literally surrounded all day by strong women, and I follow your wife in a non-creepy way, but she's amazing. So when you are surrounded by strong women, what is the one thing that you see, and what is the one thing that you see most of the women do, the mistake that they do always, and what is the one thing that you wish women would do more of?
You gotta be careful right now.
This seat is no longer cold. It suddenly got very warm. Yes, I am surrounded. We've talked about it's a very female-dominated industry, which, full disclosure, was one of the reasons I got into it when I was 18 years old. Teaching group exercise classes, I walked in and it was just me, and there was a bunch of 30 women. I'm like, okay, this will work. But what I've noticed, and so yes, I'm married to a beautifully strong woman. She lifts, and she knows exactly who she is and what she wants. And nothing that I say or would ever say would influence her decisions and her practices, because she knows exactly what she wants out of life in terms of her body and what makes her happy. And that's why we work so well together, because I know what I want, she knows what she wants, and it worked out. And what I see in the Team Beachbody world, when we go to these summits and we go to Success Club and we're surrounded by the top coaches, Lindsay Matway, Ashley Molstead, Autumn's on that list too, of these strong women that they just know, and they go into it, and they work through it. And what Carl was talking about earlier is just, they will not lose, and they will not let anybody stop them. Not a husband, not the children, or anything like that. And I say all the time too, I 100% support that, because if your battery isn't charged up, how are you going to help anybody else? So you have to be happy with yourself. And so what I see, the number one thing that I see about being surrounded by strong women is the fact their batteries are charged, man. And they're ready to roll, and they're ready to go, and they're like, I want that top coach spot. Like you're talking about, you've gone through, you have your weight loss, you have your children, and you haven't let anything stop you, and then you brought a coach with you. So I commend you for that. That's amazing. And that's what we see, and that's what's so amazing about the Team Beachbody world and about what we're doing here with Thrive. And I think the mistake that I see is letting other people get into that. creep into it and make them feel like they can't do it. And the worst thing in the world to me as a husband, a supportive husband, is seeing it when it's the husbands and the boyfriends. And I absolutely despise that. And I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right on any level. I don't think the women should do it to the men and vice versa. So I think that's the one mistake, is saying not being afraid to say, look, this makes me happy, and if I'm happy, then you're going to be happy. And if I'm not going to be happy, and women, you can be like, I'm going to make your life miserable, because you have the power to do that. So, but that's what I love to see, is strong women and knowing exactly who they are, not letting anybody stop them. And what Carl said, I think, is just knowing that one thing: I will not lose, no matter what.
I want to add to it. Oh, wait, applause. Because I too am surrounded by incredibly strong women, super trainers, and 300 and something thousand coaches who stepped up, and despite family saying you won't succeed at this, or you always fail at stuff, or you always put the weight back on, or you never finish a program, despite that, they have stepped up and done it. Where I'm most impressed is women who can balance both being powerful and resolute in achieving something without feeling like they're becoming masculine about it, and not losing their kindness. And when they can coexist with that, nothing is more powerful than that balance. And that's what I like to see. That's what I see happen when the company collaborates. It's when we manage both the ability to fight for something that's never been done, and create things that are so innovative that people can't believe it hasn't been thought of before, and at the same time, in the fight to create something great, none of us attack each other, and we find a way to do it in kindness. And that's a powerful woman right there.
I'm just gonna say mine real quick, since you guys both said yours. It's very similar to what they both said. I think the one thing I see as strong women is that we are so strong, and that we think that we always have to be strong, that we can't ever let our guard down, that no matter how tired we are or what's going on around us, that we have to put that brave face on always. And I was like that for a very long time, until I realized just how much that was holding me back, that I didn't always have to be strong, that it wasn't selfish to take time for me, or to go in my room and have the breakdown that I needed to have so that I could get that emotion out and move past it. So being strong is fantastic, but it's okay to ask for help. And I think sometimes we're just so used to, like, I got it. If I want it done right, I'll just do it myself. And that sometimes you gotta let the control go a little bit. I'm a work in progress on letting the control go a little bit, and saying, it doesn't make me weak to ask for help, or it doesn't make me weak to say, I actually can't do one more thing. Like, there is no more bandwidth left, and in order to be fantastic at the things that I'm doing, this is where I have to now say, this is all I can do. So knowing your range, and knowing that it's okay to say, I got enough on my plate right now, and I'm gonna be really great at this, and I can come back to this. I think that it takes a strong person to acknowledge that.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, nice round of applause for Mr. Joel, Miss Otto, Mr. Carl. Awesome.
The voice with the most.
Fantastic, fantastic. And also, congratulations on all that weight loss too, all the ladies out there. Great questions right here. And ladies and gentlemen, stick around, because we got some information right here with our colleague, Miss Shelby from CBS 6. She's got